Germany. Still blacks in this nation live with facts and segregation, and socialists and communists fought against discrimination. The race in World War II was to stop Hitler's evil, but who would stop the U.S. from colonizing foreign people? The U.S. pardon, it was started not from Jews being targeted, but a bombing by Japan, a chance of losing foreign markets, and getting the Middle East plans for oil so they could foil Britain's hold on this direction, making the U.S.'s investment. When peace came, U.S. dominance of the world was the essence. Like before, it was based on U.S. plans for taking more. It's a cycle they implore before they leave for foreign wars.
You've been listening to The Real History, brought to you by The Truth. We'll be back right after this message from our corporate sponsor.
After World War II, they created the United Nations to prevent future wars and ensure cooperation. But it was dominated by England, the U.S., Russia, and France, the rich country, which gives poor countries less than a chance. In 42, the U.S. put Japanese Americans in camps. Hitler was an evil race, but U.S. forces were segregated. Red Crosses separated black and white blood donations. He overthrew the U.S.-backed dictator in 1959 in Cuba, which is why they hate Castro to this time. Bad for U.S. business interests. When Castro had Batista finish. In the 60s, blacks got the right to vote in elections, but it never stopped racism or poverty's direction. In Harlem, blacks have voted for years, but didn't cheer because it stung. They lived packed in the rat-infested slums. 69, Fred Hampton was shot in his sleep and died. Shot about 100 times by COINTELPRO, the FBI. The civil rights movement, when finished, didn't witness the biggest problem, of course, which is the poor and rich divisions. In school, they teach you just a pledge of allegiance. It's a book I read, you gotta go get so you can read it. It shows how this mess was created in a place. Face of people's history of the United States. Vietnam wasn't for freedom, was for the Asian commodities, for monopolies. The U.S. committed many grave atrocities. That war they would lose it to a small country in the presence of the anti-war movement. Nixon couldn't refute it. Thought Carter would make change with intervention and attention, but he approved $1 trillion for military spending. Gave military aid to dictators with slaves. Reagan and Bush said they'd improve the economy, which is a shorthand term for maneuvering from monopoly. In 84, a quarter of the nation's children lived in poverty. It was fear. The Russians were coming here with atrocities. In 2009, now they don't want it in their hands. But Reagan sold them the weapons that's in the land of Iran. In fact, they had even sold weapons to Iraq. And years before the Gulf War, and that war showed on the surface that to the ruined class that an Arab's life is worthless. 96, Bill Clinton provided billions for building prisons. He refused creating jobs to make a living to be given. Approved $250 billion a year that went to spend on building military weapons. Befriending Bush to the end. By 97, U.S. sold weapons more abroad than all other nations combined. Another Bush arrived. We're living in the same system in 2009. It's always time to uprise and learn the truth about their lives. In school, they teach you just a pledge of allegiance. It's a book I read. You gotta go get so you can read it. It shows how this mess was created in a place. Face of people's history of the United States. Rich people who chose to colonize and exploit other people started and still own the government, the nation's wealth, its laws, its courts, its police, its newspapers, magazines, TV stations, churches, and colleges. Yet the people have always rebelled. We continue to. We always will.
People are reluctant to accept the fact that we have not been the good guys of the world. People don't want to think that. I didn't want to think that. I didn't want to think that. And it's only when I started to read history that I realized, no, this goes way back. The drive to conquer, to expand, to control. And when you know that history, if you know that history, you're not going to be deceived as easily. Because if you don't know the history, it's as if you were born yesterday. If you were born yesterday, the president gets up there in front of the microphone and says that we've got to go to war for freedom, for democracy. And if you don't know the history, well, he's the president. He knows. And why did they know these things? And Americans did not know these things, or at least 65% or 70% of Americans, the ones who said they supported the war. The one reason I can think of is the one you talked about, and that is those people out there, they're not watching CNN. They're not watching Fox News. They have alternative sources of information. So that suggests that, our job is, how do we get information to people? If you just persist in telling people the truth, persist in giving people information that they don't have, that it will make its way. All those little things that people do, they add up. And suddenly one day they burst out and you have a movement.
You look up GE, right? General Electric. Find they manufacture weapons. They own the History Channel, NBC, many other channels. Control who could be in the presidential debates and what the questions are. And they own Universal, which owns Def Jam, Cash Money Records, Mariah Carey, most of the top selling musical acts. See, I call them acts instead of artists because corporate labels own their content. Look up the Council on Foreign Relations. You see Pepsi, Coke, and Exxon are running the nation. Degradation's one in place and the nation's run by select corporations. I'm not playing, I'm saying Verizon, Merck, and Pfizer's lies of foreign policy devastation descended by the greedy rich. The Rockefeller dynasty still involved, it don't switch. Halliburton, Ford, Citigroup, and GE, Lockheed Martin, Shell, Oil, Motorola, and ABC, and it's evident not the people, it's them who pick the press. Not a conspiracy theorist, I'm a realist who wanna see you appeal. Let's look it up, you won't find it on the news. The few who own the media are on the council too. It's all true. Few people make decisions, most follow what they see, believe that they free to be. But of course, you always need to consider the source. They say go to school so you can learn how to read, but that's not what you really need. What you need to learn is how to question what you read, what you believe, what you perceive. Why those infected by greed make you want what they can see. To be at peace, the richest people are the ones who need the least. The ruling class elite always work for more capital, where acts is not practical, I'm tactical with rhymes. Actual facts in my lines, designed to take off your blinds if you inclined to start watching. Take part in boycotting the corporations that been profiting from the same system you were slaves to take the cotton in. This is a call for boycotts of corporations that profit off the wars and all the occupations. Like taking the red pill, seeing Merck, Time Warner, and school text McGraw-Hill. All of them's on the council that control our foreign will. Obviously, foreign policy is based on how the rich have a taste for more property. Not shockingly, it got Fox News and GlaxoSmithKline, Sony, IBM, Bank of America, and Heinz. And yep, there was the catch-up to try to get Kerry elected. SBP, AIG, y'all can see a whole lot more on the internet for free. Like the Bilderberg Group, it's all one greedy corporate vision. The greedy live with this mission, having to do with the Trilateral Commission. They even picked Obama and groomed him for his position. He's related to Cheney and raw bloodlines over time. In my mind, I could see him from the start of his decline. As Dr. King said, it's a crime to pay starvation wages when you living in the land living as large as this nation. With blood-sucking leeches, this credit card activation, and college student loans are large sharks that we face. I only charge $10 when I impart an education, just so I can pay for food and pay to have these CDs made and portray the truth. They afraid to play on these stations owned by soulless corporations. This is a call for boycotts of corporations that profit off the wars and all the occupations. This is a call for boycotts of corporations that profit off the wars and all the occupations. Not trying to bring you down, my sounds for motivation, to motivate you to go to protests and demonstrations. You can find me in Philly, Jersey, or DC, where you can see the people come together to be free. All over the world, people rise against corporations. You don't see it on the news, they don't want it on their station. Realization, it's obvious, brainwash is not mistaken, not logical. Intelligence makes it seem often comical. Buy independent, then find who's organized. And if you don't got the will, help with their bills or uprise. Education and dedication dedicated to recreation. A unified minds to fight the lies of these nations. You can find in my lines some kind of motivation. We'll get it from a lecture on Angela Davis's oration. Make a difference on the earth is what my mom's always saying. Take action and boycott elite corporate factions. This is a call for boycotts of corporations that profit off the wars and all the occupations. This is a call for boycotts of corporations that profit off the wars and all the occupations. Corporations crazy buying BPAs and plastics, sending jobs overseas, that's an act as Comcast. Paying pennies to workers using bad labor practices. Sweatshops in China make what we buy in our market, especially at Walmart, CVS, and Target. It's all about the greed, why Mickey D's put the lard in. Even Mickey and Disney play a big, large part in. We've been boycotting and need you to get you started. This is a call for boycotts of corporations that profit off the wars and all the occupations. They profit off the poor with the starvation wages. Fight for strikes for workers' rights in this nation. Buy independent, support independent politicians, independent businesses. Remember everything on TV, the radio, newspapers, magazines, is owned by these corporations. You want news? Watch Democracy Now! Or go to slepton.com.
Greed, violence,
violence, bigotry are not human nature. It's the nature of the few people that's running the system. And they try and teach us to be this way.
Gotta fight greed and find a way like Che, find a way like Martin King and Fred Hampton. It's not all about dancing, it's revolution anthems. Get dedicated and know the best way to get educated. Questioning everything you're told since you're created. Always hated dishonesty, the corporate news atrocity. Don't think you're alone. In 2003, 3 million marched against the Iraq war in Rome. If men had the babies, you know they wouldn't force them to choose or fight for their right to have abortions. School's not for non-violence or relief. For poverty in the streets, it's a lot they not teaching, a lot they not reaching, cause they preaching the allegiance to a system that invades other countries like leeches. Not teaching equality, a tolerant philosophy has started, but the sharing seems to stop in kindergarten. Know the best way to get educated, questioning everything you're told since you're created. Know the best way to get educated, questioning everything you're told since you're created. Try and hide the sexism, but the gender's raised different. They try to fight communism, but got the goods made mostly by China's system. You call Bank of America and end up talking to an Indian. U.S. Airways is the same, it's not different as NAFTA we living in. I told you to question, I still question 9/11. You believe in a government that lies every second. Think I'm lying, go read the Tuskegee experiment. Why should I be a Democrat? They reform when they act, they rap corporate America. The hood gets left back, not about white and black, it's humanity, it has to be. It's one race that needs to unite. In the action we saw the civil rights movement shot down as proof. They kill revolutionaries but can't kill the revolution. The spirit of Che and King ring with solutions. We honor them, cause they died trying for improvements.
Know the best way to get educated, questioning everything you're told since you're created.
Know the best way to get educated, questioning everything you're told since you're created. They say we need energy solutions and the question is, where the car they made in the 90s of electric is. They tried, complaints made about it could be rectified. The truth is that the corporations made it die. I hate most owners, they crazy, they keep making them. The Cowboys owner building $1 billion stadium. Democrats and Republicans work together to pursue the goal of keeping wealth in the hands of a few. They say they for freedom, I know how they don't care. They don't go in cause they care, it's for resources there. Resources everywhere, they send forces over air to Iraq to come back with the oil, it's not fair. And sanctions often kill more people than the wars. They have people starving, not the leaders but the poor. Sanctions killed 500,000 before in Iraq, back before they even started with the war.
Know the best way to get educated, questioning everything you're told since you're created.
Know the best way to get educated, questioning everything you're told since you're created. A thing that's a mess is the division in the left. We need to come together in a quest for the best. If we stop the division, I'm envisioning the strength. All the problems we face are from the same corporate head. The same corporate dread gotta face what we need. Unity to fight discrimination and greed. Stop bickering and heed this call and don't fall, cause an injury to one is an injury to all. If you think that's not relevant, just think of us as a million ants against an elephant. Use your intelligence, it's not hysteria. Look up the plot of the school of the Americas. They want to make a merger, expanding their business by occupation equals murder. Some gains have been made by attacking the system. It wasn't made by giving up or finding ignorance to live in. It's a saying that's said, when they came for other heads I did nothing, cause it wasn't like me, it was them. I didn't cry cause it wasn't my tribe that was dead. By the time they came for me there was no one to assess, cause by that time there wasn't nobody left. Know the best way to get educated, questioning everything you're told since you're created. Know the best way to get educated, questioning everything you're told since you're created.
In Israel and the occupied territories, a leading cabinet member and former Israeli army commander who once called for the mass killing of Palestinians has launched his candidacy for prime minister. Transportation Minister Shaul Mofaz enters the race to replace Prime Minister Ehud Olmert just days after reports emerged he once instructed Israeli troops to kill 70 Palestinians a day.
You against immigration, you crazy, cause your family probably came here from another nation that you have forsaken. We not too patient with the land and occupations who occupies Iraq, the Philippines, and the Haitians. U.S. builds the army bases and stations in other places while they hating on the people coming here from other nations. It's an atrocity how more people don't watch democracy now. In the U.S., we get blinded by seeing all the stripes and stars, yet the U.S. is in Hawaiian PR. Those who wrote the Constitution came here on British ships. Their descendants want to stop immigration and they're hypocrites. You want to love your country, no stop and love humanity. That's nationalism, rise above the insanity. If they loved our people the way they love themselves in capital, then we start to see the type of change as well as practical. That's the movement we move with to make action. When I say we all, y'all say immigrant.